great day, attractive thinker. Dr. Toni Hatton here for another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. As an identity coach and a get to the root specialist, we're here to support you in living life beyond the break, be it a break in a success or a break in a heartbreak or a disappointment, whatever that might be. There's life beyond that. And if we don't share that with you and enlighten you on that fact, you may never know that there's life beyond what you're dealing with right now or what you're about to encounter or what has happened. You need to know that there's a beautiful life when something breaks, something is exposed, something is discovered. And we're here to support you in discovering the truth, the treasure, and the magnificent ability and gifts and talents that you have as a result of the break. Welcome my co-host Tichet Bradshaw to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. It's just the best day to be alive, to do what we never did, to go where we've never gone before. Let's make it a great one.
Yes, it is a great day to be alive. Attractive thinkers, I trust that you have your notebooks handy and your pen handy. And I want you to click the like button. I want you to click that share button because these messages that have been resonating with you will resonate with others as well. Share these powerful truths. And remember to click that subscribe button. That means every time we go live or another video is uploaded, you get a notification so that you stay in the loop and you continue to get these powerful truths that support you in living beyond the break. Today, we're going to be talking about the subtle seduction of the subconscious mind to keep you from growing, to keep you right where you are, to keep you from changing, to keep change from entering into your experience. We all are open to change as attractive thinkers because we're here to evolve and grow and get better and go further. So we are familiar with the process of change, and anything that would seduce us back into being who we are, who we were, or what we used to experience, or how it used to be, is very subtle and seductive. I want you to understand something. You know, I was sharing with Tichet a while ago about this thing called euphoric recall. You can Google it, euphoric recall. And I wrote down a definition just so that you would get an understanding. And you know, groups use this. They're familiar, should I say, they're familiar with this, like Alcoholics Anonymous and maybe drug addiction organizations that help people who are dealing with these things. They know, they're familiar with this term, euphoric recall. It's a psychological term for the tendency of people to remember past experiences in a positive light. You're remembering past experiences in a positive light while overlooking the negative experience. So it's an example would be like a job, leaving a job. You did everything you could, you put all the pieces and parts together and you left the job. And then as soon as you leave, your subconscious mind, the seduction of the subconscious mind will have you saying things like, you know, at that other job, it was 15 minutes around the corner. Now you got to drive 45 minutes. You know, I know it was a lot going on at that other job, but at least you were making more money. I know you were, you know, had your stomach tied up at night, so you were a little bit depressed, but it was just for a few hours a day. The subtle seduction of the subconscious mind to keep you from growing, to keep you from changing, to keep you from doing better, to keep you from becoming new. I want you to think about that. Euphoric recall is a real thing. And a lot of times living life beyond the break, the break could be you changing your identity. The break could be you transforming your life. I no longer want to live like this. I want to live like that. So that subtle seduction will rise up in your energy, in your subconscious mind, in your experience, and make you think that changing is wrong, that growing is wrong, that evolving and wanting more is wrong. It's a bad thing, not a good thing, because you had it good. Another subtle tactic of that seductive spirit, Tichet, is hearing things like, well, you have it really good. Why would you want to mess up a good thing? Well, everything is going well. You've mastered this. You know what this is like. You don't know what that's like. But you've heard us say, if you've been following us for a while, you've heard me say good is the enemy of great all day long. Why settle for good when you can have it great? See, a lot of times, Tisha, we struggle with change because we think in order to change, it has to be bad. It doesn't have to be bad. It just has to be a desire there for great. It just has to be a burning desire there for you to want more in order for you to change.
Mhm.
Don't think that you're, because that's the first, sometimes that's the first thing that people think. Oh, she's moving on or he's moving on because they don't like me anymore. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's
Mhm.
about me. This change and this growth and this evolution, transformation that's happening in my life is about me. It's not
Mhm.
about you. But most of the time people take it personal, but they don't understand that I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm evolving. And when that happens, you hear me say this a lot. People want to change without changing things. They want to change, but they want things to stay the same. That's not how change works. Change starts with
Yes.
us first. We change, and then we begin to change the things around us. So talk to us,
Mhm.
Tichet, about this subtle seduction.
And see, I always say week after week, nothing changes until you do, because you attract who you are. And when you attract who you are, there's consequences to everything that you are attracting. And sometimes we don't see it. But when you start to change yourself and you start to grow, growth is not an overnight process. Growth is something we have been working on for a long time, and we can't afford now um, to go backwards based on lies and give up all of our growth. We worked hard for this growth, right? So that subtle seduction comes in a form of lies, but we're not paying attention to the energy. We're not paying attention to the action, or we're holding on to a narrative in our head, meaning you have this story in your head, and somehow you have justified this story. You have made this story the game of your life, but you forgot that you're playing a bigger game. There's a bigger game at hand. So when you understand that there's a bigger picture, that there's a bigger game, you have to let go of the narrative or the small game that you have in your life in order to play in a much bigger game, so that you have a chance of winning and not giving up the growth or the dream or the love that you said that you deserve. The reason why you're walking this journey, our experience really is up to us, because how we see a thing, how we perceive a thing is how we will receive it. So it all depends on the narrative that you're playing in your head. It's easy to be seduced when you don't understand the rules of the game, when you don't understand what's really being played, when you're so busy trying to justify the hidden sentences and things like that that goes with your story, that you're not seeing the truth. You're easily seduced. So when you start believing the lies, when you once believed the truth, you have to ask yourself a few questions. Where have I sowed this seed to? Where have I attracted this? What did I do to bring this about? What am I missing here? Am I seeing the full picture? Because it is us not seeing the full picture that allows us to take a subtle seduction and make it into a big movement. But here's the thing, that subtle seduction will, like you were saying, Dr. Toni, earlier before the call, it will lull you to sleep. She was talking about the whiz, and she was saying the flowers was lulling them people to sleep. And then when they went to sleep, it would say things like, don't go in there, don't do this, don't do that. Those little subtle seductions will hypnotize you in a way that's not good. It can take away your ability to see clear, your ability to operate with clarity and make a sound decision, because you're not paying attention to those low vibrational moments. You're not paying attention to the subtle seduction because you're so busy holding on to your narrative. This is why the art of letting go is important. Letting go is not easy, but it can be wonderful if you understand that There's nothing in this world worth your growth. There's nothing in the world worth you giving up your dream, worth you giving up the positive experience you called to yourself. There's nothing in this world. Now, here's the thing. The reason why we have a hard time letting go is because we have a hard time getting out of our comfort zone. We have a hard time letting go of being what we call normal, and this is what we're used to. You know, so many times we have things going on in our life where people ignore us and people disrespect us, or we might be sick in some areas, or we might always find ourselves in situations that's not pleasing, where, you know, you say, if it rains, it pours, and something always pulling a carpet from under our feet, and we say, oh, no worries, I'm used to that. We should not be used to being disrespected, mistreated, unloved, not cherished, not nourished. We should not be used to having to teach people how to respect us. That some of these things should be a common thing. Respect should be an automatic for anybody who knows you and love you. If somebody you come across that say they know you but don't respect you, you see how that does not go together. Because when you know and love somebody, respect should be automatic. And when you respect somebody and you reverence them in a certain way, there's certain things you're not going to do and say to a person you respect and love. You know, when you think of everything that you have gained throughout the years, all your treasures, you're not going to just throw your treasures on the floor. Some of us allow our wine glasses and our flutes to be treated better than we allow others to treat us. We sit there and watch them be careful holding the glass, but not careful when handling me, you know, or handling you. You know, you just allow yourself to be treated in your kind of way. And that acceptance is because we believe the subtle seduction. We believe what they said when they say, okay, things change. You know, it tries to show you change, even though there's no change in the atmosphere. And we see it. We see it, but we don't want to believe it, because believing it means we have to let go of something. And letting go of something can be good if you understand that you're letting go of good to be great. We deserve greatness. And nowhere in our experience should there be settlement where we're settling for mistreatment. We're settling for less. We're settling for brokenness. We're settling for tears. We're settling to live in a place where we don't feel safe and we don't feel it's not helping us to build. We got a lot to do as visual encouragers and the attractive thinkers. We have a lot to build. We do not have time to go backwards to read a story that's a lie. We got to let it go. That story is not the truth. If it was the truth, it would have helped you grow. If it was the truth, you would have stayed. If it was the truth, you would have had that happiness or that life you said you wanted. You would have all that creativity you've been looking for. You would have the exposure you said you wanted it if it was true. If it was true, it would have served you. But when it didn't serve you, you walked away, and then you forgot about why it didn't serve you. And then you accepted the good side of a thing. So you didn't accept it as whole. You got to look at the whole picture. So that's why when it comes to subtle seduction, it is important that we pay attention to everything. What are we paying attention to?
Everything.
We're paying attention to our energy. We're paying attention to the action. We're paying attention to whether it's in alignment. We're paying attention to our dreams, our visions, what's spoken in our spirit. Sometimes some people might hear in a song, you might say, Lord, give me a sign. I need a sign that this is not okay. And you'll hear a song that says, move on. And you're like, but I still need a sign. I need a sign. You can't ask for a sign and then not accept it because it doesn't fit the narrative you want it to paint. That's manipulation. We cannot go through life manipulating ourselves and then allowing others to manipulate us as well, so that we can paint a picture that's like 8 times smaller than what we deserve. We can't do that. At some point, we got to let it go and we got to allow ourselves to pay attention and move on. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
That is so, so true. That is so, so true. Attractive thinkers, you have your attractive thinker notebook handy. Jot down these gems that we're dropping along the way. Capture these gems because you're going to need them for where you're going. I want to highlight some things that you talked about, Tichet. And as you can see, I have my attractive thinker notebook. I have notebooks everywhere because I believe in capturing these gems, and they're coming out of you. They'll come out of you, attractive thinker, when you're out and about, going about your daily life. The Spirit of God will speak to you. Your gifts will speak out of you. And you have to capture that. Questions that you've had, insights that you're looking for, it will come from out of you, and it will come from within. And these experiences that you're experiencing when you're out and about, you'll find answers in that as well. And you got to capture that because you're going to need that going forward. So while you were talking to Shed, I was taking some notes on some of the things you were saying. I was also reminded that the mind will come up with its own stories to justify and make it okay for you to stay. Whatever that might be, stay in a relationship, stay in a job, stay in a state, stay in a city, stay in the same old thought patterns. The mind will come up with a story. It talks in stories, and it paints pictures, and it comes up with these incredible stories. That subtle seduction, it lures you back, pulls you back into where you came from. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Or it didn't hurt that much. Or, oh, you're overreacting. Or it's you, not them. Or it's you, not it. Or you know what you got over here. You don't know what you're going to get over there. Or it's easy right here. Or it's going to be hard over there. Those stories that the subconscious mind comes up with to lure you back, that subtle seduction to keep you from growing, to keep you from changing, to keep you from evolving. And when I thought about that while you were talking to Shet, if you want to hear some stories, these are some of my thoughts, while you were talking. If you want to hear what stories are playing in the background, attractive thinker, just step out of your comfort zone. Just do something new. Just change that track, that routine that you have. Instead of going right this time, try to go left. While you're driving down the street, your subconscious mind has remembered your routine because you've done it for so many years. And that's how sometimes we can make it home and pull into the driveway at our front door. And we don't even remember passing people on the street or how we even got there, because the subconscious mind took over like an autopilot, because you trained it to do that because you kept doing this, going home the same way for 10 or 15 years. So instead of going to making that right turn at the stop sign this time, how about turning left? And watch what happens. Listen to what the subconscious mind does. Where are you going? Oh, there's nothing down there. Oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, don't worry. There's nothing down there. And it could be an answer down there, and it's trying to keep you from it. Your truth, it could be down that way. Opportunity could be down. Oh, no, don't go that way. Oh, turn around and go back. There's nothing down there. Or you're wasting your time. Or why go that way? The other way was quicker. Now you got to sit at a red light. Now you got to sit in traffic. All of these stories to keep you from growing. Another thing that came to my mind is the mind has its own stories that it tells to keep you attached to and used to good when you're called to great. Why settle for good when you can have great? You're called to great. Why live this entire life, live it as a good life, when you're called to a great life? It's not okay to live a good life if you're called to a great life. I want you to think about this. Your growth is your destiny. Think about that for a moment. Do you think a rose stops growing because it wants to hang out with the lilies and the daisies? You really think a rose would sacrifice its fullest potential because it doesn't want to grow beyond the lilies and the daisies? Think about this. No, it's wired. Your destiny, your wire, you're destined to reach a certain potential in your life, your fullest potential. It's coded in your DNA to reach your fullest potential. That's just like telling a child, you know what? telling a 5-year-old child, you know what? I'm not buying you any more shoes, so you're just going to have to make these shoes fit. You can grow all you want, but you're just going to have to make these shoes fit. Think about that. Think about that. That's what happens when we're struggling to grow and we're being seduced by the subconscious mind, by the old program, by the old life. We're wearing shoes that are too tight. We're wearing a life that is too tight. We're experiencing an experience that doesn't fit. And we can't grow. Inside, you're wired to grow, but you squeezed yourself into this small life. Your life is too small for your wings. Attractive thinker, I want you to think about this. You can't even expand your wings in that environment that you're in. Every time you try to expand your wings, they're hitting walls and ceilings. You can't reach your fullest potential. You can't fly high. You can't even get into flight because you don't have room. I want you to think about that. Your growth is your destiny. So your fullest potential is at stake here. So don't be seduced into thinking that, oh, it's okay for you to stay small and play small. Oh, it's okay for you to live here. You can still accomplish. You look at how much you've accomplished in this little small box so far. You've been in here for 20 years. You still can grow. Oh, these shoes aren't too tight. Just move your foot to the side a little bit, or just walk with a limp a little bit, or just grow that corn on your toe a little bit. These some bad shoes. You're going to get rid of these shoes. You know how much you pay for these shoes? If the shoe don't fit, we're used to saying if the shoe fit, then wear it. But if the shoe don't fit, then take it off. Don't put it on your foot. Take it off. So your fullest potential is what's at stake here. Not your friends, not trying to be liked, not your comfort zone. Your destiny is at stake here. When you listen to, when you allow yourself to be seduced in a subtle way. So you're risking your leaves. If a rose, if think about this, if you're a plant, if you're not reaching your fullest potential, if you chose to be subtly seduced and then lured into listening to those stories of the comfort zone, then where are your leaves? You can't even grow leaves. Where are your petals? Your flower petals. You haven't even reached the potential where you can express petals yet, but you have petal potential locked up inside of you. So think about this. You're feeling what it feels like to bloom. You haven't even reached the level where you're the season where you can experience what it feels like to bloom. To bloom in life. You're gonna forfeit your blooming experience just so you can hang out with other flowers that don't even bloom, with other flowers that aren't interested in blooming. You know what a blooming experience feels like? You know how exuberating and magnificent and euphoric that is to bloom? I want you to think about this. To be fully open and fully free and to be fully me. You're going to forfeit that? Life beyond the break, beyond the change. Yes, change can be scary, but there's a whole new world beyond that change. So I want you to think about this, attractive thinker. You said this also, Tichet, letting go. What is letting go? When we hear letting go, we're first thinking about people, places, things. But what about letting go of the familiar? Just sitting with yourself and deciding, you know what? I'm willing to let go of everything that I know. I'm willing to let go of everything that I've experienced up until this point in my life. I'm willing to learn again. I'm willing to let go what I've learned so far and learn again. I want you to think about that. I'm willing to let go of my old thoughts, my old triggers, my old responses, my old feelings. Old feelings? I want to keep feeling what I feel now until the day I die. Is this all that I want to feel? No, I want to feel passion and drive and the fire and the excitement and ignition of life. I want to feel the joy and the freedom. The freedom. We know what freedom feels like in certain areas, but what about in all areas at the same time? Freedom. The art of letting go of your expectations. Letting go of expectations. I heard one of my mentors say that's one of the cause of the most suffering in humanity. Unmet expectations, unrealistic expectations. I expected this from that person and I never got it. Or I expected this to work out and it didn't. Or I expected to be this far in my life and I'm here. Are we willing to let go of the expectations and make ourselves available to the possibilities? Are we willing to let go of the limitations, the limited beliefs, and the self-doubt and those ugly thoughts that come up about ourselves, that distorted view, that cloudy view of ourselves? Are we willing to just wipe the slate clean and step out into life as if you're starting again? And see what you can create now with all these years of wisdom and attractive thinkerness that you have. I want you to think about that. What kind of life could you create now, knowing what you know now? What kind of life can you create if you master the subtle seduction? I want you to think about that. Letting go of beliefs and words and emotions that no longer serve me, that stunt my growth, that don't want me to prosper or become any bigger, don't want me to play a bigger game in my life. What are dreams for if you can't live them? What are they for? Are they for us to just daydream about them? Are they for us to just put a smile on our faces while we're washing dishes and no one's around and we think of a dream and we just smile about it? Is that the extent of a dream? Is it just a conversation piece for us to talk about and get excited because we don't have anything else to talk about? What is a dream for if it's not designed for us to live it, to put ourselves in that picture, in that image, and experience it? If dreaming about your dream excites you, how about living it? What do you think will happen if you live it? What do you think will happen if you manifest it, if it becomes a part of your life? Your real reality, your reality. Think about that, attractive thinker. The last thing I wrote down, Tichet, based on what you were saying is, if where you are was where you're supposed to be, you said you'd be happy. Look at the whole picture. If where you are is where you're supposed to be, why aren't you happy? And you might say, well, Dr. Toni, everybody's not happy, or I'm not supposed to be happy about everything. Happy should be your compass. Happy should be your guide. You hear phrases like, my peace is priceless. Peace should be your gauge. If I don't have peace in this partnership or this relationship or at this job or at this particular school or even going to school or, you know, a university or college, maybe I should choose another university or college. If I don't have peace living in this neighborhood, if I don't have peace driving this car, if I don't have peace putting this outfit on, if it doesn't bring me joy, then what is the point? Just to cover up your nakedness? We could do anything with that. What is the point in putting on clothes or keeping a closet full of clothes that don't bring you joy, that don't highlight your complexion, make you feel wonderful, make you stand tall, make you feel confident and give you courage? What is the point in putting it on just so you won't be naked? We can do so much more with that. We can do so much more with our lives when we refuse to be seduced into the nonsense, and we refuse to be seduced into settling, and we refuse to be seduced into living a small life when our spirit is big, our spirit is grand, our potential is endless. I want you to think about that, attractive thinker. What am I forfeiting by being seduced, by continuing to be seduced, by allowing the spirit of seduction to rob me of my destiny? Back to you, Tichet. My God, my God,
Wow.
my
I-
God.
Now, where do I start? Because when you talk about the joy, we have to get out of the habit of mindlessly living, meaning we're going through life eating just to be eating. We don't care about the presentation. We don't care about the nourishment. We don't care about what's in it or who cooked it or what have you. And then we eat it, and then it takes away our energy. We do that. So how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So when you understand doing things with intention versus doing them mindlessly, that's a shift right there in your life alone. Because when you start doing things for joy, you said you don't want to put on clothes just to be putting on clothes. You want to put them on for joy because it causes you to be confident. Some of us making decisions without the confidence simply because we keep choosing based on what is there. Settling for, oh, I'll just take this because you don't feel like there's anything else that you can do or have or be. So you settle for what's in front of you as opposed to settling for quality. Quality over quantity in everything in your life. Quality relationships, quality conversations, quality whatever's on my plate, quality treatment, quality clothing, quality, even quality when it comes to money, because all money ain't good money. So you want whatever's going to give you an investment. We are so quick to invest in GameStop and all the other stocks than we are to invest in ourselves. We think it's okay to go and put good amount of money in somebody else's business, but when we think about the currency of our energy and the currency of our time, as well as the currency of our finances, when we invest that into something, you're expecting something back. So when you're doing something mindlessly, what are you expecting back? If you're putting on clothes just to be putting on clothes, or you're dating somebody just to have a man, what are you expecting back? What you expecting back, if you're doing it mindlessly, you're not going to get what's expected. That's for sure. And then to have that expectation not met brings suffering. That's what you're going to get back when you mindlessly live. But when you start living with intention and you start paying attention, you start getting the joy and the nourishment out of everything, not just food. You're not just eating for just because it tastes delicious. What about the nourishment? Food is supposed to provide you with benefits to help you heal. It's supposed to open your mind. It's supposed to help you raise above whatever circumstance you are fixed on. Because what you focus on grows. So the circumstances you have that's going on now, it's what you're focused on that makes it stand out more. But it's easy to focus on subtle stuff, when subtle seduction, when you're not paying attention to the bigger game, like we said. And then I thought about this when you were talking. There's a lot of times when we are letting go, we are afraid to trust. Letting go, not being able to let go, is a trust issue. Trusting is not just about trusting others. It's not just about even trusting God. It's about trusting yourself as well. It's all of the above. When you're trusting that when you let go of this, something else will appear. When you let go of suffering, peace will appear. But somehow we think that when we let go of what's not, we let go of what's not serving us, we're not going to have another thing in its place, and we're going to feel empty and void and all of that stuff. But letting go takes courage, and it takes courage to trust, and then it takes trust to let go. So you end up in this cycle of trust, and you end up experiencing new things, and lifting your vibration, because your body, your spirit, your mind doesn't know what to expect at this time. So you are open to new experiences. You're open to things far above what you are used to. You know, some people say, you know, better the devil we know than the devil we don't know. So you making a choice, and you actually say to yourself, better the devil we know than the devil we don't. I've heard people justify that statement as if choosing the devil was an option. That's not an option. If you are faced between a rock and a hard place, we have all been there. You got a rock and you got a hard place. You feel like the rock is a choice and the hard place is your choice. You don't have to do the rock and the hard place. You can rise above it and choose whatever's up here. And we're not choosing whatever. We're intentionally choosing. But you don't have to stay between a rock and a hard place. There's another decision, and that's to rise above it. Rise up above it. So if you feel like you're between a rock and a hard place, rise above it and see whatever choices you have exposed up there. There's definitely more choices that you don't have to stay in this particular environment. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have your dreams and your goals and you know your needs met. You deserve to live a life of newness and to feel things you've never felt before, learn things you never learned before, you know, hear words you don't normally hear so you can research something in areas you've never researched. You deserve that because it's easy for us to see other people get what they deserve. It's easy for us to watch the television and expect more from other people and expect them to be treated better, but then we're sitting here allowing ourselves to be treated differently. We can go and say, why would the Republicans do this and why would the Democrats do that? We can go back and forth on who's acting like what, but in your own life, you're accepting the same thing. You're accepting less than what you deserve. You don't forfeit your dreams for the little because somebody gave you a little bit. And I feel like that's what a lot of people doing. They doing the bare minimum. That's what we got to get out of. Having a life that only meets the bare minimum. You're around people who do the bare minimum and justify it. They say you lucky we doing this. You are doing the bare minimum and you justify it and say at least I'm doing something. You know, we got to get out of the bare minimum in order to be great. Greatness does not come out of bare minimum. You get in what you put out. You have to invest in order to receive a harvest. You have to sow in order to receive. You can't keep expecting to receive a harvest where you did not sow. We say we want it to fall out the sky. You didn't even sow the faith for it to fall out of the sky. So there was a lot of things that you were saying, Dr. Toni. You talked a little bit about butterflies, and you said that they can fly to new heights, and they can't stay where they are. They can't stay in the cocoon, right? That's basically what I was thinking, that a butterfly cannot stay in the cocoon. And eventually, it will get smothered. You talked about how it had to spread its wings and fly. It will get smothered if it stays in a cocoon because simply it was protected at one time. You know, the cocoon stage is usually where the butterfly is mostly vulnerable to prey. It is a place of stuff. It's a place of darkness. It's a place of aloneness. But it's also the place where the great process and the transformation takes place. So your transformation takes place in one way, but when you're done with the transformation, you have to transfer out of the place where you transform. You cannot stay in that stuck place with the wings that are meant to fly, or you forfeit your whole journey. So then you end up uncomfortable. You end up spending your life in dysfunction and being deformed and dysfunctional. When you start trying to stuff your feet in a size 2, when you wear a 7, your feet is going to become deformed. It's never going to reach its full potential. And then you end up having to pay for it later with pain. Oh, my feet, when you go try to fit normal shoes and now you're trying to wear a size 7, your toes are curled up. It's curled this way and that way because you've been fitting into something that didn't serve you. Now you're in pain and now you got to have surgery to get it fixed, right? Because you can't slap a Band-Aid on that. You have gotten used to dysfunction. Why did we get used to dysfunction? Because we could not trust enough to let go of what wasn't serving us so that we can shift from good to great. We got so used to having everybody else get the cookie and then we didn't get the crumb and we're sitting here with the crumb. We got used to that because we didn't want to deal with the guilt that comes with taking the whole cookie. We got to let go of the narrative that we painted about ourselves, man, because it all starts with that. When you understand who you are as a person and know that you are worthy to be nourished, cherished, loved, you are worthy to be respected, well, not just respected, well respected. You know, where I'm not talking about just a Mr. or Miss, the simple bare minimum respect. I'm talking about respected where a person sees something coming your way and they'll be like, oh, they'll help you pull out the way. They'll say, oh, you might want to do that. Oh, you want to be careful with that. They'll start to try to lift you up higher if they see that you didn't went down too low. I'm talking full-fledged respect. When you respect something, you care about how it feels. You care about how it's handled. You care about those things. You care about how it's looked at. Some people are so caught up in the image of the thing, but they don't care about nothing that's going on in the inside. The internal is where the work is. The internal is where your life is. We have been building our lives externally so much, trying to get stuff, that we let the inside of us settle for being less than. Some of us, we might date people because they have tons of money and we're used to being disrespected. Why is that the trade-off? Why is their money a good enough trade-off for you being disrespected? That's not the move. So and that's the dysfunction I'm talking about, because when you see yourself as worthy, you're not gonna let anybody treat you any old type of way. So let me ask you this question, because I remember Dr. Toni, when we was doing a mastermind, you said this one statement to people. You asked all of the attractive thinkers. You said a couple statements, and you said, would you say this to yourself? Would you say, oh, you can't do this? Oh, you can't grow there. You can't move here. That house is not for you. That person's not for you. That money's not for you. Let go of those dreams. You're doing too much. You're going too far. You're going up high. You think you better. Would you say that to a 5-year-old girl? So all the things that you say to yourself, would you say that to a 5-year-old girl? Why? Why not? Because we view the 5-year-old girl precious. You're still somebody's baby. Why would you say that to yourself? So the abuse does not start externally. It starts internally. And that's how we accept it. Because the abuse that's going on externally is because we became okay with it internally. Again, we're fitting the narrative that we paint in our heads. And when something fits the narrative, we accept it, and that's it. So that's what I believe, we just really have to get to a place of trusting. Get into the art of letting go and get into the habit of treating ourselves like we're worth something. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
That's good. Treating ourselves like we're worth something. Attractive thinkers, I trust that you have gathered some power, you have captured some powerful gems along the way during this message in your Attractive Thinker notebook. Again, I want to encourage you, click that like button and click the share button. Share this message because it's transforming lives. I want to encourage you to subscribe. Continue to receive these messages, because one message is not good enough. You have to have a continual flow of mental resources, mental support, and mental tools and strategies to keep you mentally strong and for mindset maintenance. After this message, what tools do you have in place for mindset maintenance? You're going to have to continue to feed on these messages to create mental strength and a mental muscle so that you can face life in a positive way and see the opportunities, not just the challenges. See the opportunity. When the challenge is presented to you, you automatically see the opportunity. You just have an eye for it. You just have vision like that. So I want to drop some gems along the way before we close out this message today, because Tichet, while you were talking, the ideas were flowing and the revelation was coming, and I want to share this. I want to share some food for thought with the attractive thinkers, just some things for you to consider and empower you in the decision making that the decisions that you have to make going forward. So not being able to let go is a trust issue. That's what you said, Tichet. So it's that not being able to let go is so strong, that not trusting, that feeling that you have of not trusting. Not trusting is a feeling. Trust is an experience. You know, it's a feeling. You know what it feels like to trust someone. You also know what it feels like not to trust someone. It's not a good feeling. But in this case, living life beyond the break, you know, while you're making decisions to change, to grow and evolve, you're so afraid of letting go because you don't trust, and that trust, that feeling is so strong that you would hold on to what no longer serves you. I want you to think about this, just so you don't have to experience what trust feels like beyond the brink, just so you won't have to experience what courage and confidence feels like beyond the brink. So you will hold on to something that's broken, something that no longer serves you, something that weighs you down, something that makes you cry. You would hold on to that for fear of what life is like on the other side of the break. I want you to understand that. Why do we have to be convinced that happy is okay? That came to me when you said you deserve to be happy. So why do we need to be convinced that being happy is okay? I hear that all of the time. You deserve it. You deserve it. Why do you have to tell me 17 times that I deserve the goodness of God? What is wrong with that picture? What is going on in me that I feel I'm more comfortable with the less deserving things than I am with what I really deserve, my true essence, the beauty that I exuberate in the earth? So another thought came to me after you said that you deserve to be happy. It was a flow of ideas and thoughts that came to my mind. And I just want to share them with you, attractive thinker, for you to consider these things. Are we really okay with sadness daily? So if you have to convince me that I deserve to be happy, am I used to being sad? Is that okay with me? Do I not complain when I'm sad? I just settle for it. I just say that's normal, or everybody's sad. I mean, not too many people are happy, or you can't be happy all the time. Have I settled into believing that narrative? Why aren't we alarmed when we're sad? But most people get alarmed when you're happy. Like, oh my God, here she comes, she happy again. Oh, you see somebody happy. Oh, what you happy about? What happened? Tell me. Why are you alarmed because I'm happy? You should have been alarmed because I was sad. When I was sad, it was okay. You know, you were okay with it. There was nothing that went off in you to attend to me when I was sad. But now that I'm happy, you're wondering what's going on. Why does something have to be going on because I'm happy? Think about that. Why is happy so scary? Oh my God, if I make this decision, if I move, if I change my hair, if I change my wardrobe, if I get a new car, it's kind of scary. What's going to happen if you change? What's scary about that? What's scary about being new? What's scary about living your dream and being happy? What's scary about doing what you were called to do? What's scary about helping people like you want to help them? What's scary about being an author, writing a book, or running your own business? What's scary about contributing to society? What's scary about creating, living, and leaving a legacy that speaks when you no longer can? What's scary about that? Making your life count. What's scary? I want you to think about that. People say, oh, no one's happy all the time, but people make sadness normal all the time, and everybody's okay with it. Why is doing what you desire so scary? Why do you have to psych yourself up just to follow your dream? Why do you have to psych yourself out every morning just to follow your heart or just to grow? Oh, I made the decision to grow now. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, 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 okay. I'm gonna grow. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna grow. Why do we have to go through those changes? Why do we have to explain and justify our desire to grow? Why do I have to keep explaining to people that I'm doing this for all of us? I'm doing this so we can have better, be more, go further. And why isn't everybody knocking my door down when I'm not growing, when they don't see me changing and evolving? Nobody's knocking on my door coming to see about me when I'm not growing. But as soon as I step out of my comfort zone and do something that nobody has ever done before, now everybody got something to say about it. What is wrong with that picture, attractive thinker? The subtle seduction of the subconscious mind. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist, here to support you in removing, squashing, blasting those paralyzing thoughts that are blinding you from seeing you in your fullest potential, blinding you from seeing that your dreams are possible, that it's real. Your dream is real and it's for you. I want you to think about that. If you need clarity, if you need support, if you're tired of wallowing in the waffling energy and back and forth and sure and certain one day and not sure and uncertain another day, book a clarity session. That's what they're there for. www.clarity.theattractivethinker.guru. Book a clarity session and get crystal clear. And as soon as you get clear, you hit the ground running. You start creating again. You start evolving and changing and growing again. And then you begin to see yourself in your highest potential. Your courage and your confidence come back. Tichet, tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, the visual encourager.
Absolutely. You can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. I provide mental support for movers and shakers, groundbreakers, trailblazers, and pathfinders, those who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that they can create a new vision for themselves. Go to my contact us page, put in your information, let me know how I can encourage you, uplift you, and ignite you so that you can live a life of fulfillment. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Awesome. Attractive thinkers. I'm so excited. Today was juicy. It was fantastic and amazing. It's a lot of meat in this message. I'm going to go back and listen to this message myself. It was incredible. We just introduced you to the subtle seduction of the subconscious mind. So now you know stepping out of that comfort zone is the right thing to do. Now you know what's going on, what's at play, trying to wheel you back into who you used to be when who you're becoming is far greater than you could ever imagine. I want you to always remember our life's work, that's to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through, it's how you're doing it. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.